Listen carefully. When you hear the words February 24th is critical, your first reaction may be tension. Your chest tightens. Your mind starts racing. You wonder what will happen, what could go wrong, what you might lose. But this reaction reveals something deeper. You are used to seeing pressure as punishment. You are used to seeing urgency as threat. And that is why you have not yet understood the blessing hidden inside a wake-up call. A critical moment is not sent to destroy you. It is sent to reveal you. If you are hearing this message right now, congratulations. Not because something extraordinary is guaranteed to happen on that date. Not because the universe owes you a reward. Congratulations because you are being invited to awaken. And awakening is rare. Most people never receive the invitation, or worse, they ignore it. Think about how many days you have lived unconsciously. You woke up, but you did not awaken. You moved, but without direction. You spoke, but without intention. You worked, but without presence. Days passed, weeks passed, months passed, and life felt repetitive, heavy, slightly unsatisfying, yet familiar enough that you tolerated it. This is the sleep of the modern human being. You are not asleep in your bed. You are asleep in your habits. You say you want change, yet you repeat the same routines. You say you want growth, yet you protect your comfort. You say you want purpose, yet you distract yourself at the first sign of discomfort. And then you wonder why nothing shifts. A critical day interrupts this pattern. It forces you to pause and ask, if this moment truly matters, how would I behave differently? If this day were a turning point, what would I stop tolerating? If this were my last warning before regret, what would I correct immediately? Understand something clearly. Life does not shout at first. It whispers. It gives subtle signals, a feeling of restlessness, a sense of misalignment, a quiet voice that says, you can do more, you can be more. But most people silence that voice with noise, entertainment, gossip, excuses, overthinking. When the whisper is ignored long enough, it becomes a wake-up call. A wake-up call is mercy. It is a second chance disguised as urgency. You have been given many opportunities already. Moments where you knew you should have acted differently. Moments where you knew you were settling. Moments where you knew you were avoiding the necessary discomfort. Yet you told yourself, I will fix it later. Later became next week. Next week became next month. And next month became a pattern. The greatest danger is not failure. The greatest danger is slow decay. Slow decay feels harmless. You skip one workout. You break one promise to yourself. You postpone one difficult conversation. Nothing catastrophic happens immediately. But the accumulation of small compromises weakens your identity. And once your identity weakens, your confidence follows. When confidence falls, hesitation grows, and hesitation steals opportunity. February 24, being critical does not mean something external is guaranteed to happen. It means internally you have reached a threshold. Enough repetition, enough delay, enough unconscious living. Every human being has moments where the scale tips, where the cost of staying the same becomes greater than the discomfort of change. This is that moment. You must understand, pressure is not your enemy. Pressure is the environment where transformation occurs. Muscles grow under resistance. Character grows under challenge. Clarity grows under confrontation. Without pressure, you remain untested. Without being tested, you remain unaware of your own strength. So instead of asking, what will happen on February 24th? Ask, who will I be on February 24th? Will you be the same person who wakes up tired, already negotiating with the alarm clock? Will you be the same person who avoids the hard tasks until the end of the day? Will you be the same person who speaks about ambition but acts with hesitation, IF? Or will you decide that this is the line, that from this point forward, you move differently. I.e. Nakaya. A wake-up call is only powerful if you respond to it. Hearing it is not enough. Many people consume motivational words the way they consume entertainment. They feel inspired for a few minutes, their heart beats faster, their imagination lights up, and then they return to the same environment, the same habits, the same excuses. Inspiration without action becomes another form of distraction. Awakening requires confrontation. Confrontation with your laziness, confrontation with your fear, confrontation with the stories you tell yourself to justify mediocrity. You say you are tired, but are you tired, or are you undisciplined? You say you lack time, but do you lack time, or do you lack priorities? You say circumstances are difficult, but are they truly impossible, or just uncomfortable? You see impossible, you see daran, uncomfortable. That is why most people avoid them. But growth begins where comfort ends. If February 24th is critical, then treat it as sacred. Not sacred in superstition, but sacred in awareness. Sacred because you decide that from this moment you no longer drift. You steer. Drifting is easy. Steering requires intention. To steer your life, you must become conscious of your daily choices. Every choice either strengthens your future or weakens it. Every action either builds discipline or feeds impulse. Every thought either sharpens your focus or scatters your energy. Look honestly at your current trajectory. If you continue exactly as you are, same habits, same mindset, same level of effort, where will you be in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? If the answer does not excite you, then the wake-up call has already justified itself. You are not powerless, but you have been passive. Passivity feels safe because it avoids immediate discomfort. But over time, passivity creates regret, and regret is heavier than effort. Regret whispers, "You knew better." Regret reminds you of moments like this, moments when you felt the call to change but chose familiarity instead. Do not collect regrets, collect discipline. When you wake up tomorrow, do not ask how you feel. Ask what is required. Feelings fluctuate. Requirements remain. Your goals do not care about your mood. Your potential does not wait for perfect conditions. The warrior mindset is simple. Respond. Do not react. A critical day is not an emergency to panic about. It is a signal to become sharper. Sharpen your mind by reducing distractions. Sharpen your body by embracing training. Sharpen your speech by choosing words carefully. Sharpen your intentions by eliminating contradiction between what you say and what you do. Awareness is the first step. Responsibility is the second. Action is the third. Many people stop at awareness. They say, yes, I know I should change. But knowing without doing changes nothing. Responsibility means you stop blaming circumstances. It means you accept that your current position is the result of repeated patterns. Some patterns were inherited, some were learned, but now, as an adult, they are yours to either continue or break. Breaking a pattern feels uncomfortable because it challenges identity. If you have always seen yourself as someone who procrastinates, being disciplined feels unnatural at first. If you have always seen yourself as someone who avoids conflict, speaking truth feels risky. But identity is not fixed. Identity is trained. Each disciplined action is a vote for a new identity. You do not become strong by thinking about strength. You become strong by lifting weight repeatedly. You do not become confident by wishing for confidence. You become confident by facing fear repeatedly. So when you hear, "Wake up now," do not interpret it as fear-based urgency. Interpret it as opportunity-based urgency. You have a window, a moment where awareness is high, where your mind is open, where you can either solidify a new direction or drift back into habit. The difference between those who transform and those who remain stagnant is not intelligence. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is response time. How quickly do you act once you recognize the truth? How quickly do you act once you recognize the truth? Some people need years to respond. Some respond immediately the faster your life changes. This is not about February 24th as a date on the calendar. It is about February 24th as a decision point in your consciousness. It is about drawing a line and saying, from here I rise. Rising does not mean perfection. It means commitment. You will still struggle. You will still doubt. You will still feel resistance. But you will no longer surrender automatically. That is awakening. Awakening is not dramatic. It is disciplined. It is waking up when you said you would. It is doing what you promised yourself. It is finishing what you started. It is saying no to distractions that dilute your focus. A wake-up call is a blessing because it interrupts unconscious repetition. It gives you the chance to reevaluate your direction before consequences force you to educate yourself through awareness. If this message reached you, it means you are capable of understanding it. And if you are capable of understanding it, you are capable of acting on it. You are capable of acting on it. Congratulations, not because everything will suddenly improve, but because you are standing at a threshold. On one side is comfort, repetition, slow decay. On the other side is discipline, discomfort, growth. The door is open. The call has been made. Now the only question left is simple. Will you wake up or will you press snooze on your own potential once again? People pray for miracles, but they resist discipline. This is the contradiction that keeps human beings stuck. They ask for change while protecting the very habits that prevent change. They ask for clarity while living in distraction. They ask for strength while avoiding resistance. And then they wonder why nothing shifts. If February 24th is critical, it is not because the sky will fall. It is because your habits are being measured, not by society, not by other people, but by reality itself. Reality responds to structure. Reality responds to consistency. Reality responds to disciplined action repeated over time. You say you want a better life. Good, then look at your daily structure. Your life is not built in dramatic breakthroughs. It is built in ordinary mornings. It is built in small decisions that feel insignificant in the moment. The time you wake up, the way you speak to yourself, the food you choose, the effort you give when no one is watching. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is alignment. Alignment between what you say and what you do. If you say health is important, but you neglect your body, you are misaligned. If you say growth matters, but you avoid discomfort, you are misaligned. If you say faith is strong, but your actions are weak, you are misaligned. Misaligned creates internal tension. That tension feels like frustration. It feels like anxiety. It feels like self-doubt. But the root is simple. Your actions do not match your declared identity. A critical day exposes this gap. It forces you to confront the truth. Are you serious or are you just interested? Because there is a difference. When you are interested in change, you act when it is convenient. When you are serious about change, you act regardless of mood. Serious people build systems. Interested people build excuses. Discipline is a system. You do not rely on motivation to wake up early. You set a rule. You do not rely on emotion to train your body. You create a schedule. You do not rely on inspiration to focus. You eliminate distractions. Structure creates freedom. This sounds like a paradox, but it is truth. Look at your current freedom. If you sleep whenever you want, eat whatever you want, scroll endlessly, avoid responsibility, does that feel like freedom? Or does it feel chaotic? Chaos feels free at first. But over time, chaos becomes a cage. Your energy drops, your clarity fades, your confidence weakens, and you begin to feel controlled by impulses. Real freedom comes from control. Control over your attention, control over your reactions, control over your habits. If February 24th is critical, it is because it is asking you, who is in control? Are you controlling your mind, or is your mind controlling you? Are you directing your day, or is your day directing you? Is your day directing you? Your day directing you? It jumps from thought to thought, from task to task, from desire to desire. It chases comfort and avoids effort. It seeks stimulation and resists stillness. But the disciplined mind is sharp. It chooses focus over distraction. It chooses long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It understands that comfort is earned, not consumed endlessly. Many people misunderstand discipline. They think it is harsh. They think it is rigid. They think it removes joy. But discipline is the foundation of deep satisfaction. When you keep promises to yourself, your self-respect grows. When your self-respect grows, your confidence strengthens. When confidence strengthens, your actions become decisive. This is alignment. Without discipline, your prayers remain words. With discipline, your prayers become action. If you ask for strength, then train. If you ask for clarity, then remove noise. If you ask for success, then outwork your excuses. You cannot separate spiritual growth from practical discipline. They are connected. When you train your body, you sharpen your will. When you sharpen your will, you strengthen your character. When your character strengthens, your decisions improve. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you reinforce a new identity. And identity determines destiny. Look honestly at your day. Where are you leaking energy? Where are you wasting focus? Where are you negotiating with your own standards? Negotiation is dangerous. The moment you start negotiating with your alarm clock, you are training weakness. The moment you say, just this once, you are reinforcing inconsistency. One compromise seems small, but repetition builds identity. If February 24th is critical, then treat it as a checkpoint. Not a dramatic event, a checkpoint. A moment to evaluate your structure. Ask yourself, if someone observed my daily routine, would they predict success or would they predict stagnation? You cannot outpray poor habits. You cannot outhope undisciplined behavior. You cannot outdream a weak routine. Your routine is your foundation. The strong build their day before the day begins. They decide when to wake up. They decide what matters most. They attack important tasks first. They protect their focus like a warrior protects his territory. The weak wake up and react. They check their phone immediately. They allow external noise to dictate internal state. They move without intention and wonder why they feel lost. If you feel scattered, it is not fate. It is structure. Discipline begins in small areas. Make your bed, clean your space, move your body, finish what you start, speak with intention. These actions seem simple, but simplicity, repeated daily, becomes power. Power is not loud, it is consistent. A disciplined person does not need to announce their goals. Their actions reveal them. They do not argue about their potential. They train it. You will feel resistance. Your mind will search for shortcuts. It will say, rest more. It will say, you deserve a break. It will say, start tomorrow. Understand this. Your mind is designed to conserve energy. Growth requires spending it. If you always follow comfort, you remain average. If you choose effort repeatedly, you become uncommon. February 24th, being critical is not about fear. It is about urgency. Urgency sharpens focus. When you know time matters, you waste less of it. Time is not your enemy, but it is limited. Every undisciplined day compounds. Either you compound regret. Imagine two versions of yourself. One follows discipline daily. The other follows impulse daily. After 1 year, the difference is dramatic. After 5 years, the gap is massive. After 10 years, they are almost unrecognizable from each other. Both started with the same potential. The difference was structure. You do not need extreme measures. You need consistency. Wake up when you said you would. Train even when you do not feel like it. Finish tasks before relaxing. Limit distractions intentionally. Remove what weakens you. Strength is not built by adding more goals. It is built by subtracting what dilutes focus. If you scroll for hours, remove the trigger. If you waste time in negative conversations, distance yourself. If your environment invites laziness, redesign it. Environment shapes behavior. Discipline shapes identity. Identity shapes destiny. This is alignment. Way. In your words, thoughts, and actions point in the same direction, you feel powerful. There is no internal conflict. There is no guilt. There is no hidden shame of knowing you are capable of more but doing less. That hidden shame is heavy. Discipline removes it. If February 24th passes and you are unchanged, the date meant nothing. But if you use it as a decision point, the day you committed to structure, then it becomes sacred, not because of superstition, but because of choice. Do not wait to feel ready. Readiness is created through action. The first disciplined day feels difficult. The second feels slightly easier. After repetition, it becomes your standard. Standards define you. Raise your standards quietly. Expect more from yourself than anyone else does. Hold yourself accountable when no one is watching. Build strength privately so that when life tests you publicly, you remain steady. Discipline is not about control for the sake of control. It is about becoming reliable to yourself. If you cannot rely on yourself, how can you expect confidence? How can you expect trust from others? Self-trust is earned through repeated integrity. Integrity is doing what you said you would do, even when it is inconvenient. This is the door to alignment. If you want your life to shift, your structure must shift. If you want your results to improve, your standards must rise. If you want your prayers to be answered, your actions must reflect belief. Wake up now, not emotionally, structurally waking time. Decide your waking time. Decide your training time. Decide your boundaries. Decide your boundaries. Then execute. Because discipline is not glamorous. It is not dramatic. It is quiet, repetitive, sometimes boring, but it is unstoppable. And once you align your habits with your vision, nothing external needs to scare you. Critical days do not threaten disciplined people. They reveal them. Fear is the final gate before growth. Most people do not fail because they lack intelligence, talent, or opportunity. They fail because they stop at the gate. They feel fear and they interpret it as a command to retreat. But fear is not a command. It is a signal. And if February 24th is critical, it is critical because you are standing in front of something you have been avoiding. Fear always appears when you are close to expansion. Think about the moments in your life that changed you. The first time you spoke up when you are usually silent. The first time you took a risk that others doubted. The first time you chose discipline over comfort. None of those moments felt safe. They felt uncertain. Your heart beat faster. Your mind searched for reasons to step back. But if you moved forward, despite the discomfort, you grew. Growth is never comfortable. Comfort maintains the current version of you. Growth demands a new version. The mind prefers the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. You may complain about your situation. You may feel stuck. You may feel underpaid, undervalued, underestimated. Yet you remain there because it is predictable. Predictability feels safe, and the brain is designed to protect safety. But safety without progress becomes stagnation. There is a silent tragedy in living below your potential. It is not dramatic. It does not make noise. It simply erodes your confidence slowly. Each time you avoid a difficult conversation, each time you delay a bold move, each time you silence your own ambition to fit in, you shrink slightly, and after enough shrinking, you begin to believe that smallness is who you are. It is not who you are, it is who you practiced being. Fear practices smallness. Courage practices expansion. If February 24th is critical, it is because something in your life requires courage. Perhaps it is a decision you have postponed, a boundary you have not set, a goal you have not fully committed to, a truth you are afraid to admit. Ask yourself honestly, what am I avoiding right now? Avoiding. Do not answer quickly. Sit with it. The first answer is often superficial. Go deeper. What conversation makes your stomach tighten? What action makes your mind create excuses? What opportunity makes you say, maybe later? That is your gate. Fear does not mean stop. It means prepare. It means pay attention. Imagine a warrior standing before a mountain pass. The wind is strong, the path is narrow, the drop is steep. Fear is natural. But if the warrior turns back every time the wind blows, he will never cross into new territory. He will remain in the valley of familiarity forever. The valley is your current comfort zone. The pass is your fear. The new territory is your growth. Most people misunderstand courage. They believe courage is the absence of fear. That is a fantasy. Courage is action in the presence of fear. Courage is feeling uncertainty and stepping forward anyway. Courage is deciding that long-term expansion is more important than short-term comfort. The job you want requires applying despite doubt. The respect you want requires speaking truth despite tension. The strength you want requires training despite fatigue. There is no path around fear, only through it. If you always choose what feels easy, your world remains small. If you repeatedly choose what challenges you, your identity expands. And identity expansion changes everything. Your identity is the story you believe about yourself. If your story says, I avoid conflict, you will avoid it. If your story says, I am not ready, you will delay. If your story says, I am not capable, you will hesitate. But when you confront fear directly, you gather evidence. Head contradicts the old story. The first time you face fear, you shake. The second time, you tremble less. The third time, you stand firmer. Repetition rewires identity. But you must start. A critical day is not about external events. It is about internal thresholds. Perhaps you have felt increasing dissatisfaction. Perhaps your mind has been restless. Perhaps you sense that you are meant for more, but you do not know how to begin. The beginning is always courage. Do not wait for perfect clarity. Clarity often follows action. When you move, information appears. When you stay frozen, confusion grows. Fear thrives in imagination. It multiplies in silence. The longer you think about what could go wrong, the larger it becomes. But when you take one concrete step, fear shrinks into something manageable. Action is the antidote to anxiety. You fear the conversation, so prepare your words and speak. You fear the failure, so attempt and learn. You fear the rejection, so present yourself and accept the outcome. Rejection does not define you. Inaction does. Failure does not shrink you. Avoidance does. Every time you avoid a challenge, you send yourself a message. I am not capable. Over time, you begin to believe it. But every time you confront a challenge, even imperfectly, you send a different message. I can handle difficulty. That message builds strength. Strength is not loud, it is steady. If February 24th feels critical, maybe it is because you are tired of being ruled by hesitation. Maybe you are tired of watching others move while you analyze. Maybe you are tired of knowing what you should do but not doing it. Hesitation is expensive. It costs opportunity. It costs momentum. It costs self-trust. Self-trust is built when your actions align with your inner voice. That inner voice already knows what must be done, but fear creates noise around it. It says, what if you fail? What if people judge you? What if you are not enough? Ask a different question. What if you are not enough? Ask a different question. What if you are not enough? Ask a different, what if the only thing separating you from growth is one courageous decision? What if the discomfort you feel is proof that you are standing at the edge of transformation? There are two types of pain in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline is sharp but temporary. The pain of regret is quiet but long-lasting. If you choose to avoid fear today, you may feel relief, but later regret will whisper, you could have, and that whisper can follow you for years. Face fear now and you feel discomfort, but later confidence will whisper, you did. Confidence is not built by winning every time. It is built by showing up despite uncertainty. You do not need to eliminate fear. You need to manage it. Breathe deeply. Slow your thoughts. Focus on the next step, not the entire mountain. Courage grows in small increments. If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. The sign is not mystical. It is practical. Move forward. Write the message. Make the call. Move forward. Write the message. Start the project. Set the boundary. Begin the training. Take the risk. Do not overthink the entire future. Control the next action. The strongest people you admire are not fearless. They simply built a habit of stepping toward discomfort. Over time, their tolerance for uncertainty expanded. What once terrified them became normal. This can be you. But it begins with a decision. I will not let fear decide my direction. You are capable of more than your current comfort zone allows. But capability without courage remains potential, and potential without action becomes frustration. If February 24th is critical, let it mark the day you stopped negotiating with fear. Let it mark the day you stepped through the gate instead of standing before it. On the other side of fear is not perfection. It is growth. It is clarity. It is strength earned through experience. Stand at the gate. Feel the fear. Do not deny it. Do not dramatize it. Acknowledge it. Then move, because the final gate before growth is not locked. It opens the moment you decide to walk through. There are moments in life that divide your story into before and after. Not because the world changes overnight, but because you do. February 24th can be one of those invisible turning points. Not dramatic, not loud, but decisive. A line drawn quietly inside your own mind where you say, enough. From this day forward, I move differently. Most people wait for transformation to feel extraordinary. They expect lightning, emotion, overwhelming clarity. But real transformation is subtle. It begins with a decision that no one else sees, a decision that you may not even announce, a decision that lives in your discipline, not in your words. If this day is critical, it is because you are being asked to choose who you become. One is shaped by habit, comfort, and repetition. This version knows your excuses well. It understands how to justify delay. It whispers, you still have time. Start next week. It's not urgent. This version is familiar. It feels safe, but it keeps you average. The other version is quieter, but stronger. It demands more. It is not impressed by your potential. It demands proof. It does not negotiate with your mood. It does not accept half effort. This version knows what you are capable of, and it refuses to let you settle Every day, these two versions compete, and the winner is decided by your actions. A turning point is not when circumstances force you to change. It is when you choose change before circumstances punish you. Waiting for crisis is weakness. Choosing growth voluntarily is strength. Ask yourself honestly, if nothing in your environment changes, will you, or are you waiting for pressure to push you? The powerful do not wait to be pushed. They step forward before they are forced. You say you want success, then act like someone who expects it. You say you want peace, then behave like someone who protects it. You say you want prospects, then hold yourself to a standard worthy of it. Your identity is built in private, not when others are watching, not when applause is guaranteed. Identity is built in early mornings, when no one sees you rise. It is built when you continue working after motivation fades. It is built when you choose integrity over convenience. February 24th, being critical, means this. You are standing at a crossroads. One path is comfort, the other is growth. Comfort promises ease. Growth promises expansion. Comfort gives you temporary relief. Growth gives you long-term power. Choose carefully. Comfort whispers gently. It does not sound dangerous. It says, rest a little longer. Skip today, you deserve it. And sometimes rest is necessary. But comfort becomes dangerous when it becomes your default response to challenge. Growth is not loud either. It does not scream. It simply waits. It waits for you to commit. It waits for you to endure discomfort long enough for strength to form. You cannot become powerful while protecting your weaknesses. If you are serious about this turning point, then stop negotiating with the habits that keep you small. Stop defending the patterns that limit you. Stop explaining why you cannot when you have not truly tried. This is the moment where you decide your standards. Standards define everything. If your standard is low, your effort will be low. If your standard is high, your behavior will adjust. Raise your standards quietly. Decide that from this point forward, average effort is unacceptable. Decide that excuses are no longer part of your vocabulary. Decide that your word to yourself is sacred, because self-betrayal is the fastest way to lose confidence. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your self-trust weakens, and without self-trust, every goal feels distant. But when you keep your promises, even small ones, something changes inside you. You walk differently, you speak differently, you feel grounded. This is the true turning point, when your actions begin to reflect the person you claim to be. You cannot control the world. You cannot control other people. You cannot control unexpected events. But you can control your response. And response is power. When challenges come, and they will you react emotionally or respond intentionally? Will you collapse into frustration or stand firm in discipline? The person you are becoming is revealed in pressure. Pressure does not create character, it exposes it. So if this day is critical, treat it as training. Train your patience, train your focus, train your resilience. Do not look for comfort in every difficulty. Look for growth. There will be moments when doubt appears. Doubt always appears before expansion. It asks, are you sure you can do this? Instead of arguing with doubt, act. Action silences doubt faster than overthinking ever will. And understand this clearly. Becoming a stronger version of yourself does not require perfection. It requires consistency, small improvements daily, slightly better choices repeatedly, slightly higher standards consistently. Over time, these small shifts become massive transformation. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. If you choose comfort today, what does that version look like? Likely similar to now, slightly older, slightly more experienced, but fundamentally unchanged. Now imagine yourself 1 year from now, if you commit today, if you wake up with intention, if you train your body, if you discipline your mind, if you face fear instead of avoiding it. That version is sharper, calmer, stronger, more confident. The distance between these two futures is not talent, it is decision. Do not underestimate the power of a single decision repeated daily. A turning point is not dramatic, it is decisive. It is the moment you stop saying, "I will try," and start saying, "I will." It is the moment you stop hoping for change and start creating it. You do not need external validation. You need internal commitment. There will be no applause when you wake up earlier, no audience when you choose discipline, no celebration when you say no to distraction. But these invisible victories are what shape you. But results are born in silence. If February 24th is critical, let it be remembered by you, not because of an external event, but because of an internal shift. Let it be the day you stopped underestimating yourself. Let it be the day you stopped playing small to stay comfortable. Let it be the day you chose long-term respect over short-term ease. This is your turning point, if you decide it is. No one else can declare it for you. No calendar can force it. No speech can guarantee it. The power lies entirely in your choice. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. You are not behind. But you are responsible for your focus, responsible for your discipline, responsible for your courage, and responsible for your courage. And responsibility is not a burden. It is power. Stand up internally. Make the decision quietly. Commit without drama. Then execute relentlessly. Because in the end, your life will not be defined by how many critical days you were warned about. It will be defined by how many of those days you chose to rise.